I'll be honest, I had a lot of interviews with people around the situation. I mean, even Big U,
Okay.
I talked to, who's friends with Suge.
Oh, yeah, they were real close.
Yeah, and I remember Big U said,
I think he was probably going to do about 4 more calendars at the most.
3 more years
At the most.
and then get out.
Yeah, he'd be home. He'd definitely be home.
I mean, he has a good shot based on the situation.
Yeah, he'll be home.
When you look at it, the only thing is that he's now on his 15th lawyer. And I believe he has a public defendant now.
It actually works for you. The public is all he really needs.
I could see a self-defense
Yeah.
defense, with this particular case. But then lo and behold, a short time after that interview I did with Big U, 28-year plea deal.
Yeah.
And you were talking to Suge in prison during this time?
I talked to him a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Spoke to him once after the plea, and what he pretty much explained or said was he would have had to win 6 times to not get life in jail.
Win 6 times? Because there were 6 different charges?
It was 3 different charges, but he would have had to beat those twice because they would have kept retrying him. It was the alleged threat on the director dude, the alleged theft, which Cat Williams had played out to with the photographer lady, and then the hit and run and the attempted murder cases, which, like I said, you can try them twice.
Right,
So-
because he already had 2 strikes.
Well, not only because of the strikes, well, that's why he would have got life.
Yeah.
And so he would have, instead of getting life, which not only, with my calculation with California law and everything, and the time he did in the LA County jail and stuff, I don't see him doing more than 16 years, which would make him 69 years of age, if everything works in his favor. The website says 2037, which would make it like 18 years, is what they're saying, but I don't think he got all this credit yet for the time he did in county jail. Because in county jail, you get a day for a day.
Yeah.
So he did 3 years, 7 months in county jail, 3 years, 8 months in county jail. And you multiply that by 2, what's that? 7.6. So he's already got credit for 7.5 years.
Oh, you
of
get
that 28.
Oh, you get kind of double time.
You get double
essentially?
time
Oh, really?
in county jail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and from what I was told, I talked to some people who are familiar with the legal system, is that he took the plea deal because if he had gotten any sort of life sentence, and even if it
all
was
3.
if it was 3 to life, he knew that he would never get out.
Exactly. You have people in jail right now on 7 to life deals.
Yeah, I heard about that.
7 to life.
Yeah, I know someone who has a friend who got 7 to life, and 24 years later, they're still
Still in custody.
in custody. Yeah. So that was essentially the reason.
That's essentially the reason. Now they know he has a date.
He knows he has a date.
Plus, you get other freedoms in jail for not being a life prisoner.
Oh,
you can
okay.
have conjugal visits.
Okay.
Stuff that you can do that when you don't have an L behind your name that you can't do if you have an L.
Suge did an interview, I think, with
Blast.
The Blast, yeah, where he said that he thinks that Dre tried to get him killed.
He's talking about at the Chris Brown club incident. He's
He's talking about that
that's what he's
incident.
talking about,
Oh, he got shot.
when he got shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any comment about that?
I don't believe it's true. He hates Dre. Why this man left the company to him, I don't know, but I don't know.
And I've said this before in a lot of interviews. If you take one step back from this whole situation, and you've seen it way more than I have, right? You were right there in the middle of it. But if you just take a step back and you say, okay, if Suge had played his cards a little bit differently, there is a chance that he could be worth like $500 million today.
Yeah.
That death row would have never broken up. He would have a piece of Eminem, Kendrick Lamar.
Well, those artists probably wouldn't have came,
I don't know. I think all those artists worship death row.
But who knows if they would have came.
Well,
Yeah.
Beats by Dre. Like what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, him and Dre potentially could have still been business partners to this day, as opposed to him, being
People thought
in
he
jail.
wanted. Yeah. People thought he wanted the split. He did not. He did not want that split.
He didn't want that split.
He didn't want Dre push for that split with Jimmy. He didn't want that split.
Right. But I also heard that Dre just did not want, was an artist and did not want to be associated with all the nonsense that was going on at Death Row, with all the gang shit and all the violence and everything
He
else
didn't like
that.
that. He didn't like that. But like I told you, who was the cause? Michelle Toussaint.
Michelle A. Who eventually had a baby by Suge as well.
Yes. Once Dre heard and found out about the relationship, I think it hurt him to the core. Even though he was in a relationship with somebody else, but for your business partner to be having a relationship with your baby mama, it hurts.
Yeah, and I interviewed Michelle A. and
She has her opinion.
she
and her
has
outlook.
she has her opinion.
She has her outlook on things.
And I guess I remember during my interview with Daz, he showed me this one video where Tupac was in the studio and Michelle A. was kind of rubbing up on Tupac as well, and
She was affectionate like that. She didn't mean anything by it. But who knows? I don't know.
who knows?
But at that time, she was in a relationship with Shep.
It's messy.
And so she wasn't trying to cross. She had Dre and Suge at that time.
Yeah.
Both eating,